Hi, my dear Astro family. So today we are going to be talking about the upcoming lunation, which is a Scorpio full moon happening on the 23rd or the 24th of April. Now, if you would like to pretty much get to know how it might be affecting your own chart, I recommend joining my YouTube membership. You will pay a little bit of a fee and then you will receive extra 10 videos a month. Some of them are going to be the breakdown for the weekly aspects for each sign. Some of them are connected to the lunations. And also you can receive teaching materials as well. So, but let's get started with this very intense Scorpio full moon. There is quite a few things to unpack. So we're going to be looking at Vesta, Juno. I am going to be talking about a new asteroid as well. Probably we haven't spoken about in the channel, and that's going to be Bacchus. And its astrological number is 2063, if you would like to check where it is in your natal chart. But let's start with the beginning. So this lunation is happening in the sign of Scorpio on the 23rd or the 24th of April. We are at the moment at the end of the eclipse season for a little while, but I feel like this lunation is actually intensifying whatever was going on with the eclipse. One of the reasons is because the eclipse was also ruled by Mars, and that was making a conjunction to Saturn. And then at this lunation, what is happening that Mars is still in the sign of Pisces, but it's pretty much very close to Neptune, being between Saturn and Neptune. Not exactly on the midpoint of that, I'd like to mention though. But definitely Mars has nowhere to turn. It's going to be running into something. So either I run into Neptune and then I'm going to have all this confusion happening, or I'm going to go back into that troubled zone, which Saturn might have got to offer. But we're going to talk about that as well a little bit later. So this full moon is full of tensions. First of all, what is a full moon? When the sun and the moon are in opposition. And the moon is on 4 degree of Scorpio, while the sun is on 4 degree of Taurus. Now, why this very interesting is because the moon has got a pole position in the sign of Scorpio, which means that moon feels uncomfortable here. And it's a very close to the degree of the fall position, and that would be 3 degree of Scorpio. So there is a lot of intensity there where the moon really feels uncomfortable. And this is coupled with a Pluto square as well at the same time. Now, Jupiter and Uranus have made their conjunctions by the time I'm posting this video. So that will get highlighted here quite significantly. Uh, if we just look at the general picture of the chart, which I have placed on the screen so you can follow what I'm talking about, we have got a lot of energies going on in the sign of Pisces as well as Aries. So Pisces is so much to do with uncertainty. We kind of have a feeling about something. The feeling is in the air, but we have no capability of grasping what is actually happening right now. And then we've got this Scorpio energy, which is all about being scared and afraid of something. And then Aries wants to break away from it, or it wants to fight with it. Often that Aries energized territory of our life is very driven, but the Scorpionic part of our chart is very afraid of something. So this, if we put these together, it can indicate that we are driven by our own fears or obsessions as well. So the very first question you might want to ask, what is it that you are so scared of? Now, the sun is in Taurus, the moon is in Scorpio. Moon is in fall in Scorpio. So we have got a lot of emphasis on soul searching. What is the point of life? Often people just want to give up with this Pisces and Scorpionic traits. We are getting to the point where we don't see where this leads, what the future looks like. We cannot be optimistic. or we are unable to see our own abilities. We are unable to trust our capabilities or trust others. And that Piscean energy says, you know what, I need to be trusting the universe, that the universe is going to have my back and everything is going to be okay. But this is extremely hard, right? Because the sun is focusing on tangibility. When I cannot see that on my bank statement, when I'm afraid of losing my job, how on earth can I trust the universe is going to be helping me out? Obviously, the sun wants to maintain the resources in this chart. It is a question of what do I own? What do I have? What do you have? And how we can kind of share that with each other. What do you give me versus what I can offer to you? Because maybe there is an imbalance here, and that's exactly what the full moon talks about, creating a balance between two particular area of your life. And with the Taurus, we hold on to something like to our dear life. And with the Scorpionic trait, our life is getting taken away from us. Because we sometimes have to surrender, sometimes we have to give up certain type of things in order for us to grow further. Taurus is about fertility on one hand, because that is the representation of the earth, the ground. It's about planting the seeds. You might have planted something, but you don't see the growth yet. So it might be coming with an element of an impatience as well. And remember, Mars is still sitting close by to Saturn too. So while Mars wants to run the marathon, Saturn is saying, no, it's not time yet. We need to slow down a little bit. The Taurus Scorpio axis is so much to do with support system. So how do I support myself and what help do I receive from others? And now this combination is being squared by Pluto, and Pluto intensifies things. That's the planet of change. So on one hand, this is asking us to change how much we expect from others, but also how much I give to others as well, because there is probably imbalance there. Or how much are we controlled by our own feelings and negativity, and how much we are impacted by the society and their own agenda? Because Pluto is placed in the sign of Aquarius, and sometimes it would feel like that the world, the society is crumbling into little pieces. And where does that lead us? To be worried of something, to be worried that I'm not going to have enough money, or my partner is not going to have enough money, or my partner is going to be losing their job, and so forth. But on a mundane level, this would talk to us about how will the economy change our lives. Because often with Aquarius, we're talking about the distribution system in the world. So how will I receive, for example, food from a certain part of the world? How much is that gonna cost? How much tax are they gonna put on that? So the Taurus Scorpio axis is so much to do with the cost of living, how much money I've got in my bank account and how much money I want the bank to give me. And of course, this could bring a little bit of a banking crisis as well in the world. We all know that, we have got community issues going on in the world, right? So we've got this emerging Middle East situation, which I predicted that Israel would be fighting back most likely on the 19th of April. One of the reasons why I believe that, because Mars was making a sextile to the approaching Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. And unfortunately, it happened. And it might have involved other countries as well. So the Middle East might be getting blocked out. And of course, there are other applicants in this story as well. So this is very possible that people are going to be worried what is going to be happening in the world. But going back to the personal level, this is also an indication with the Taurus in the sign of, sorry, with the sun in the sign of Taurus, that we become kind of like a hoarder. The sun is the protection. Obviously, you always want to protect yourself from the sun as well because you don't want to get burnt, right? So therefore, I am going to be, I don't know, putting food on the shelf. I'm going to be buying up a lot of things because I know that the prices will increase. So again, we are fear driven here, moon in Scorpio, that I need to stock up, I need to pile something up. Or maybe imagine that if it happens in your work area of life, how to secure my position at my workplace. Am I afraid that they are going to be cutting numbers, or we are going to be dismissed, or our work is going to get paused somehow? And clearly, with the Mars and Neptune conjunction, that is one of the major feature of this chart, by Mars being the dispositor of this lunation, there is a lot of confusion around what is actually happening. We might be afraid that, you know what, I don't know what to do anymore. We can feel drained with this energy as well. We can feel the weakness. We can feel that it's very difficult to crawl out of the bed. It's kind of like even when you have got the strength to crawl out of your bed, it feels like I'm swimming against the tidal. It can feel like that things are bigger than me. And that's a big realization we need to make. Certain things in our lives are just bigger than us. And we should not be trying to control the uncontrollable. You can only control your own life. You don't need to be sucked into a certain type of intensified situations in the community around us, because this could come with a lot of drama as well at the same time. And when you are sucked into the drama, your focal point is going away from your own survival needs as well. Now, and I'm not asking people to be egotistical and disregard people's feelings and so forth, because obviously this is something that is important to us. That is something that makes us human, but it's about self-preservation as well at the same time. And often Pisces get sucked into those scam situations, or we tend to be helping others to be able to thrive or to survive. It doesn't matter. And where does that lead us? We are going to be left in the pickle when we don't receive the support what we need. So in order for us to be able to help others, we need to secure ourselves as well. Imagine that with that Mars, for example, you want to start something, but not sure what impact you are going to be making in your life. Will that change anything? Is my effort gonna pay off, or is just gonna be a failure? We can be between this limbo here. But surely this calls upon us to have a belief that everything will turn out in the right way. Or even though if it doesn't, without trying, we would not know about it. I would describe this as a little bit of a storm in a teacup. And one of the questions is that how will I navigate the ship out of this storm? Because the ship can sink, or I can gather all my strength and then leading that ship to the coast. And then obviously, eventually we're going to dry up. I've seen this film with Angelina Jolie a couple of days. I saw this film a couple of days ago with Angelina Jolie. And maybe this is going to be describing exactly how I feel about this Scorpio full moon. So Angelina Jolie plays this fire fighter type of thing. So I mean, she's in a forest, and then she's always in an observation post. And then when she sees the fire, then she goes and rescues people. That's her role here. And the year before, unfortunately, she lost three kids because they miscalculated the direction of the wind, and then those three kids died. And then she's kind of suffering from some post-traumatic experiences due to that. And then now there is a situation where an accountant um, kind of catches someone cheat with something, and then he tries to escape with his son, but the father gets scared, and the son will be protected by Angelina Jolie. And actually, one of the beautiful scenario here is that she goes against her fear and she walks towards the fire. And she has got these flashbacks of the three kids dying and being burnt in the fire, but she's taking this new kid towards the fire because that's the way to escape from the killers who have been following this little boy. So even though we are not talking about the kind of like fiery elements here, but this is about how I am going to be facing my own fears when it comes to trying something new or navigating that ship out of the storm as well. Now, we've got some supportive aspects also going to, or there are some supportive aspects to this lunation. And a supportive aspect is always about a way out. So you will be seeing two of them here in this chart. One of them is a trine to Vesta, and the other one is a sextile to Juno. So let's talk about that for a little while. Obviously, we have got two goddesses getting activated here, two female archetype. And the two female archetype can already indicate that getting in touch with our own feelings is actually extremely important. But what we see, and let's start with Vesta, which is very much about focus. And Vesta being in the sign of Cancer is all about focusing what makes you feel comfortable, focusing on inner peace and inner foundation, or focusing on your family life. So this could talk to you about being surrounded with love or by love, or receiving care from people you love or you actually care about as well. So we've got this Taurus and Cancer part of your chart. If those two are working together, then actually that's a way out. And that's about pampering, spending time with people we love, finding an inner peace, receiving comfort from others, meaning that, again, how does that relate to the Scorpio? We need to trust people who are a part of our pack. Without trust alone, you cannot do certain type of things in life. They can give you that ease of comfort. And that's where also Juno comes into the picture as well. Because Juno is about committed partnership or contractual agreements or collaborations with others. So you might need to be asking for help from a Juno archetype in your life, such as your husband or your wife. If you feel like that you cannot navigate the ship, maybe this is actually telling you to ask someone to help you with. It's not always, we've got the Pluto picture in the Pluto archetype in the picture, which is often about, I don't want to give up my own power because I'm going to look weak. But asking for help is not a sign of weakness. I believe that's a sign of strength, actually, because often we're going to have to put our pride aside, right? We've got the sun and the moon opposition as well. And the sun is the planet of pride, while moon is the planet of feelings. So the pride can get in the way of our feelings as well. Imagine situations like you cannot pay the rent or I cannot pay the mortgage. So that Juno sextile from Virgo, also an indication that I need to be making little changes. I need to make improvements day by day. And again, this is asking you not to rush forward because the changes take time to implement. But with certain practice, with the right help, you're gonna get there. So we would call this aspect as the daily investment. If you feel out of your own element, you don't have that peace within yourself. You've got these emotions that is swirling within you. Then this is telling you to do things that you love and enjoy and boost your confidence level every single day. Now, on a global level, would say that people will be worried about the cost of living due to the ongoing issues in the world, the power struggles, how people are going to be crossing the borders, how many immigrants are going to be moving to other countries. Probably there will be a lot of talk about this. And this lunation is actually on Sagittarius dwat. Now that is switching on the travel industry, the religion, or the school system. So imagine that you are worried about having to stay at home as schools are closed down, for example, or I'm getting stuck at an airport and I'm unable to travel home. But the Taurus and Scorpio axis is about sharing the financial burden. So maybe, there is an airline who is going to say, sorry, there is this natural disaster going on, and we don't reimburse you, and so forth. And then you feel like, okay, but it's a waste of money. I have to buy a new ticket, for example. So the Vesta is very much asking you to focus on what truly matters. It could be a scenario because Taurus and Scorpio is about strength as well. Taurus is the physical strength, while Scorpio is the emotional strength. So often the battlefield here is that I feel extremely weak to get out of the bed and let's say hit the gym, for example. I feel tired, I feel burned out, and Mars in Pisces might want to surrender and give up. So this is the axis of intimacy as well. So intimacy within as well as with others as well. And you might be doubting your partner. You might be doubting whether things can turn around as the tension is building and building and building. As I said, I made this video about Jupiter-Uranus conjunction recently, and the Saturn and Mars conjunction as well. And the title I gave to the Saturn-Mars was An Attack Against a World Leader. Unfortunately, the attack happened a few days after I posted the video. And then the title I gave to my Jupiter-Uranus was Chaos in the Travel Industry. And I also mentioned an earthquake possibly in Japan. Unfortunately, these have already happened. So this is telling me that the situation is going to get intensified even further. And often with this lunation, we feel crazy. Maybe that Sagittarius dwarf is a worry that things are going to become worldwide, because Sagittarius is about expansion. Another message I would give here is that trying to control the uncontrollable is not necessarily smart during this time. We just sometimes need to realize that things are out of our hand or out of our reach, and we just certainly need to give up. But if you feel like it's very fear driven, then this would not talk to you about giving up. Actually, this would want you to push further. The another message is that often what drive us nuts is things that we do not know. And we want to walk towards the unknown so that we can receive certain pieces of information about something. And Scorpio is about uncovering the truth. So there is going to be hidden information being spotlighted here. It's going to be a big, major piece of information, surely with Pluto, that is going to be kind of shifting the powers within the world. On a personal level, this is also talking to you about how much resistance you show towards change. Or do you need to resist getting sucked into something that you have no power over? I think focusing on protecting of what we have and the protection of our loved ones is a major message here. And releasing people from our life, such as friends with the Pluto in Aquarius, who are holding us back, who are actually a source of the problem. So also, this could talk to you about, especially with the Mars and Neptune upcoming conjunction, is that I'm trying to fight for someone we feel sorry for. But the message there is that I cannot save everyone. So try to reveal your own truth. Try to reveal the motives of others. Try to search an answer for something that is deeply bothering you. Maybe ask yourself the question if you want to share your feelings with others or you want to be closing that to your own chest. This lunation will reveal how to work in a particular situation. That something that has been lurking in your subconscious, but also your fears can come to light as well. That actually you know how to take an action about it. But remember, feelings are not always rational or justified. It might be coming from a place of insecurity, and that's also the Taurus and the Scorpio axis. You need to remember that we are super emotional during this lunation because Mars is in the sluggish, watery sign alongside with Neptune and then the Scorpio moon as well. So this could make us feel sad. It might be an old anger that is popping up here actually, and we feel overwhelmed. We feel like that we cannot live up to our standards, or we feel that there is lack of clarity in our situations at the moment, and we do not know which way I am going. It's kind of like getting stuck in the mud. Now we've got one asteroid involved here, and that is Bacchus. Its astrological number is 2063. So let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, Bacchus is the asteroid of parties. He was the god of wine and indulgence. Um, that's what pretty much I would say very quickly about its meaning. And it has got, I mean, it was involved with a lot of girls as well. So it represents drunkenness on ecstasy and parties and orgies, and it's wild, it's flirtatious. This is someone who does not like rules at all. This is someone who has no boundaries, no moral codes, let's put it that way. So it's interesting that it is in conjunction to the moon. So on one hand, this is exactly the polarity what I was talking about, but it is making a conjunction to the moon. And I feel like the internal struggle is whether we are going to be looking at the pleasurable moments of our life, which will be the Taurian part of your chart, and the sun is trying to highlight the goodies in your life, or we are getting dragged back into that, you know what? I want to forget about all my pain and all my trouble. So let's just go into an orgy. Let's get drunk. Let's have a glass of wine because it makes me forget everything. And then how I see that Saturn, Mars, and Neptune combination is that Saturn is still whispering to Mars to be responsible and to be disciplined. But Neptune is kind of droning us into that, you know, it looks beautiful to be on the ocean, right? We don't see the storm ahead of us, but it looks beautiful because the sea is calm or the ocean is calm and it's inviting. So I just want to be delving into that. Now, bugs in your natal chart pretty much show where you might feel lost a little bit, where you let go of things, where you lose touch with reality a little bit. And obviously, it could show someone who has got alcohol problems also. It could show someone who, maybe works at a winery, for example. Or it could show someone who is a party animal. But it has got its positive side to it as well. And that is something to do with creativity. But also when you kind of like you are extremely creative or extremely spiritual, you get lost in there. And often that is an indication as well of withdrawal, which is another big topic with Mars in the sign of Pisces alongside with Neptune as well. Bacchus could talk to us about a DJ, for example, who is unfortunately snorting some drugs while they are entertaining others, and so forth. So there is an abuse problem here. Now, talking about abuse, okay, the Scorpionic themes, the Pisces Mars themes, and the Plutonian themes are actually bringing the topic of abuse. So surely one of the big topic in the world is going to be the power abuse. Who is kind of lurking at the background? Who is really pulling the strings? And this might get revealed to you. Okay, so let's summarize on this very important lunation. The full moon, which is about release and adjustments. So something needs to die in order for us to rebirth. We need to do the shadow work. We need to get a little bit more intimate with this. We need to have that power within us. We've got this intensified T-square going on with Pluto, and Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. So we've got a lot of Scorpionic themes here. And I mean, the meaning of this combination is about power, wealth, transformation. So are you in control? Are you in power? Are you controlling your finances? Do you give yourself something that you deserve? Bringing Bacchus into the picture as well? Or do I have all these selfish desires going on? And when it comes to wealth, remember it's not always about money. Because while Taurus is about the tangible assets, Scorpio can represent the intangible assets. And with the moon being there, not seeing the value of your own memories. Maybe you are not exactly clear about what wealth you actually desire or how to attract that. And that's why you need to go through a certain type of transformation. As I said, there is Juno involved here, that your relationship department or collaborations with others could help you out. And then we've got the Vesta trine as well. And often that is an indication to focus on a cause. Guys, this was my interpretation on the upcoming lunation. I hope this helps. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on my special paid YouTube membership program so that I can give you more clarity about the upcoming energies. Have a great one. See you soon. Bye-bye.